Welcome back to Briggs on Books. Been talking to authors today from all over the world, even the United States, and so much going on around the world, and so many great authors. I just have the best job in the world because I get to talk to those authors. Our next guest, Ryan Poirier, is from where? Where are you from, Ryan?
Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada.
So that's north of the border. That's all I know. It's north of where I am. Would you say you're kind of north of New York or north of Chicago, or?
I'd say more New York. Like if I were to go to the States, I'd be going right where the Rainbow Bridge is right now, which we know is a no-go zone right now.
Yeah, there's some activity, some kind of explosion there.
Yeah.
I've been looking through. You sent me some pages of your book. You say you sent pages of the new book?
I guess last time we spoke, I had just finished publishing book 4 of my Farm Freak series. And what I sent to you for this talk today is some pages from my next book, book 5. There's going to be 7 in total for this one story arc.
And that'll be the Farm Freaks series.
Farm Freaks.
Now, you also have, and here's one of the covers, The Herd?
The Herd, yeah.
Okay. And here's another Herd cover. How many episodes of The Herd were there?
The Herd was a big project going out the gate. So the complete story, the complete first volume is a 500-page volume. So I had to break it up into 4 books.
Okay.
The whole thing makes fun of the superhero parodies and the whole genre in general, even the way the books are numbered, because I originally had it planned as a trilogy book, but as the story progressed and started to get longer and longer, I added in a 4th book, so it's not just labeled as it's labeled as part 1, part 2, part 2.5, part 3.
Okay.
So it parodies even the trilogy idea of it.
Yeah, well, Amazon lists your part 3 as your most popular book, so who knows why that is?
I don't know. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you'd have to read the first 2.
Now, tell me, I'm just going to pop up some of these pages. What is the genre?
Genre is very, all my work is very inspired by Saturday morning cartoons from the 90s it's when I grew up watching. So a lot of, Bruce Timm inspiration, he was Tiny Toon Adventures, the Batman animated series. So that kind of art inspiration, but also just the way the story is told. A lot of slapstick humor, a lot of movie parodies and pop culture parodies, and really tongue-in-cheek, breaking the 4th wall every now and then. And it's meant for all ages. My oldest daughter's only 5, and likes both the books, whereas I've had people even in their 60s tell me they want to read the next issue or volume. So it's literally targeted for all ages, and it's got a very very off the wall comedy kind of feel to it. Doesn't take itself too seriously. It makes fun of itself, but yeah, it just feels different from your average comic book. There's a lot of superhero comics with that superhero art. This is a very cartoony version of that.
Well, I grew up in the 60s, and looking through these panels, it really reminds me of the cartoons we'd watch on Saturday morning.
Yeah, growing up, I would watch, of course, the old Walt Disney and old, Chuck Jones. They're like my biggest inspiration as well, like the old Looney Tunes and Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. Yeah. That's how I learned how to draw, just watching those cartoons. So it's just kind of, I want to get into that field of character design and storytelling. So I'm working on taking the right courses right now to pursue that path. But in the meantime, I've been just telling my own story and writing, my books, and it's been connecting with people. So my goal is to get these to a proper distributor and or an agent as well to properly connect the bridge to the proper network.
Right. Now, do you think these ought to be turned into motion cartoon
I would love it if they could.
Yeah.
I just had a Comic-Con last weekend, and I had some returning customers asking for the next volume, and they said this should be a cartoon show. It's different it's something fresh. It's something not remade. And even though the superhero genre is very overplayed at the moment, The Herd is a real twist on that because it makes fun of the superhero genre, and they don't really become their heroes until the final book in the first place. It's all about the journey on becoming it and dealing with responsibility. And whereas the Farm Freaks is a totally different, off-the-wall, inspired by, there's a cartoon, Eat the Cat in the 90s, and that was one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah.
And it's really weird slapstick humor that doesn't sometimes make sense, and that's kind of, like, the main character is a cow. Hurdle. He can helicopter his nipples and fly. So the whole thing's ridiculous.
It's a cartoon. Whatever you can imagine could happen, certainly.
Exactly. But the moral message behind it is because it's about a group of misfits, the farm freaks, the whole thing is about embracing who you are, that it's okay to be different. The world would be an extremely boring place if we were all the same. And that's the message that's told across the story.
Now, what formats do the books come? Are they hardcover, softcover, or just Kindle?
Ebook,
Ebook.
And so like digital and hardcover as well.
Hardcover as well.
So well, not hardcover, like softcover, like trade paperback. Hardcover would have to be like a special request kind of order, but I have done hardcovers before.
Nice. So if I was going to get these for someone for Christmas, for example, would I get them for my young 5-year-old nieces and nephews, the teenagers, the adults?
Really, anyone who wants to read something new and funny.
Yeah.
It goes across the board. So for kids, that's why the two of them, if kids are really into superheroes, like my daughter liked The Herd more than Farm Freaks. But I've had other kids be more interested in Farm Freaks. And in doing these conventions, having the two of them, it's funny. It's fun watching which one the kid ends up going towards. And lately it's been Farm Freaks a lot. But I've had people my age asking for the next volume. And I'm 42. Yep. So it's really whoever you think it would tickle their fancy. My website has free samples of the first chapters from either book. So you can download those as a free PDF and gives you a vibe of what it's about. And that's the accidentalcreations.ca. Correct, yeah. And also your Instagram and Twitter are at @rpoirier_author. Yes. Yeah. Now, I just, what I'm interested in is the art. I'm as we're talking, I'm popping up some of these panels, and I just love the art. I love exploding vegetables. That's always funny to me. I don't want to give away the story. When will the next one explode? It goes, pow, explodes. That was pretty darn funny, Ryan. So I guess that we tell our viewers, go to Amazon, or should they start at your web address? My web address is, that way you can get an actual signed copy. Amazon, I think they're on digital. I had some issues there. For the physical print, I had to, for me to get them available in physical print through Amazon, I need to resize everything by like 3 millimeters or something. So that's going to be, with how long, I've got 8 books now, so I mean, that would be a very long, tedious thing. So for a physical copy, my website's the best way to go. That's the best way to go. Same for digital. They're also available digital on Google Play Store as well. Now, you go to some Comic-Cons, just mostly in Canada or locally, or do you travel? Right now, just Canada, like Ontario in general. Like I just had one this past weekend in a town about 45 minutes away. Then in 2 weeks from now, I have one in the town I grew up in. So it's kind of bringing the whole thing home. And then next year, I plan on doing Toronto. There was a mix-up this past year, and it's why I couldn't get there. And then Sudbury would probably be the furthest if I do that one. That's going way up north. It's like 5 hours from here. Oh, boy. So I haven't done anything in the States yet. Yeah. Let me ask you this, just today's about the 22nd of November, 2023. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving for us. What do you guys do tomorrow? Work. You don't? No Thanksgiving. You have your own Thanksgiving day, don't you? No, we already had our Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So
we have ours in October.
in October, so that's over with. So you
yeah.
just go to work as a regular day tomorrow.
It's a regular day.
The United States shuts down for this kind of thing. Well, we're about out of time. I've been putting these panels up, and one of them is kind of intriguing. It looks like there's a theater. Like the top half is a building, the bottom half is a theater. But
that's the one character's hideout, Jinx the Lynx. He's the villain who, after drinking this contaminated juice, the story's about anyone who drinks this contaminated juice gets superpowers.
Yeah.
He was a magician that's kind of gone rogue, and his powers is he can create. His magic is real. He can create real holograms. And his hideout's his old theater, and a lot of the imagery that I use, the scenery, like all the characters' houses, are based off of places I see in my dreams. And I have a very lucid dreams whenever I do dream, and like photographic memory. So then I end up drawing these houses and stuff based on those, and it makes them look different.
Yeah. Well, this theater it's intriguing, and it came to you in a dream. Can you control your lucid dreams?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's if I realize there's a certain area that I always dream of, and I had it again the other night, and it was finally there's a spot in that dream I've always been trying to get to. And I was about to, and then when I realized I'm there, I'm like, oh shoot, let me go explore this.
Go check that out.
It's only in my head, but it's weird. It's like you're there.
Well, it's incredible. You can have the lucid dreams, so you can remember your dreams and then recreate them by drawing them out. That's really something. Ryan, I could talk to you for hours, but they're signaling me, get off the air. We're over time. What else do you want our viewers to know before we're totally out of time?
I guess just if you have a story to write, follow your dream and write it. You'll always have someone out there it connects with. It's never a lost cause.
That's great.
And as if anyone's viewing who's an agent and looking for someone, because I am looking for a literary agent at the time, just reach out to me, send me an email. You can find my information through my website.
Yeah. And the website's on the screen, accidentalcreations.ca, I guess stands for Canada. And Instagram and Twitter. I think we found Ryan on Instagram, and we saw his stuff, but it got our attention, and now you're on the show again and again, by the way.
Thank you for having me back.
All right, Ryan. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And for our viewers, don't go anywhere because we have more authors coming up right after this. We'll be back.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. We'll be back right after this.